All right, hello college algebra students. So let's take a look at how do we solve systems of inequalities using the graphs, right? So there are a couple of things that I want you to pay attention, and then we will get back to how do we solve these things. So suppose here's your x-axis, right? And here's your y-axis, and here's a line right here, which is y is equal to mx plus b. Right, so this is a line that y is equal to mx plus b. So anything below, right, anything below this line, for example, everything below this, right, this entire region, right, below that would be y is equal to, that would be your y less than mx plus b, right? Anything below would be y is less than mx plus b. Anything on top of that, right? Anything on top of that would be right here, right? All these things would be y is equal to or y is greater than mx plus b. So you have a line right here that is y is equal to mx plus b, right? Right here is the line. This line right here is y is equal to mx plus b. Anything below would be y is less than mx plus b. Anything above, right, of that line would be y is greater than mx plus b. So that's how the inequalities work. What do we mean by that? By which we mean by that, if you take a point in here, and if any point in here, you take a look at x comma y, if you plug it in, y value would be always bigger than mx plus b. Again, if you take a look at a point in here, and if you try to see, the y value would be less than mx plus b. If you take a point in this particular line, right, any point in this particular line, here you're going to have a case where y is equal to mx plus b. So that's how we're going to have, these, that's how the inequalities work. For example, let's take a look at another shape. Here, what we have here we have a circle, as you see here, right? Here we have a circle right there. And the equation of the circle, let's just say the equation of the circle is, let's just say that x minus a the whole squared plus y minus b the whole squared is equal to r squared, right? So which means this point is, a comma b, that is the center, and this radius, right, would be r. And anything on this particular circle, any point on the circle, right, would satisfy this particular equation there. But what about inside, right? What about inside? Inside, the equation of the inequality that will get satisfied would be this particular one, x minus a the whole squared and plus y minus b the whole squared less than r squared. So everything inside would be x minus a the whole squared plus y minus b the whole squared less than r squared. What about outside? Everything outside, right, of the circle, everything outside of the circle, as you would, as you would have guessed it already by now, everything outside of the circle would satisfy this particular equation, namely x minus a the whole squared plus y minus b the whole squared greater than r squared, right? That is how these inequalities work, right, geometrically speaking. So suppose let's take a look at, parabola. Here I have a parabola, right? Let's just say this parabola is, let's just say y is equal to mx squared plus plus b. And I don't want you to get confused with the equation of a line, so let's not say mx squared plus b. Let's call this as ax plus b, so therefore you don't get confused with m right there. So let's call this a parabola, y is equal to a x squared plus b. So any point on this parabola, any point, you take a look at any point on this parabola, and if you plug it in to this equation, it will satisfy, right? So what about any points below? Any points below this parabola, and what about any points above the parabola? So any points below the parabola would satisfy the inequality, which is, y is less than ax squared plus b, right? So anything below would satisfy that one. You take a look at any point in here, right? That'll get satisfied. What about the points in here? What about if I take points in here? What would these points satisfy? What kind of equation or inequality these points would satisfy? And that'll be this particular one. So this entire region, the equation or the inequality that will be satisfied by these points would be x squared, or I should not say x squared, I should say y is equal to, y is greater than ax squared plus b. So that is how the inequalities work, and we're going to use this to solve the following problems. So the first thing is always to write, y is equal to mx plus b, right? Even if this is the easier way, so that you know that below that line, we know it's less than, above that line it is above that line, that is greater than. Even if y is negative, we want to rewrite this into y is positive y, so that we can easily work around. And then if it is strict inequality, right, if it's strictly less than or strictly greater than, we always use a dotted line. If it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, then we use the solid line there. And again, as I said earlier, if y is less than mx plus b, then it is going to be shadow below the line, right? It is going to be below that line, right? And if it is greater than, it is going to be above that line. And when in a case of hyperbola, y is less than ax squared plus bx plus c, again we're going to shade below the parabola. In the case of y greater than, it's going to be above the parabola. If it is this way, we shade inside the circle. If it's less than, it's inside the circle. If it is greater than, it is outside the circle. Now let's take a look at these and then try to find the solutions or or how to solve the following problems, right? Or let's take a look at in solving these problems. So now what I have, if I'm just taking a look at it, what I have is I see a circle. I see a circle here, x minus 2 the whole squared plus y plus 1 the whole square is less than 9. So I'm going to first graph the circle, and so because it is less than, it is going to be inside the circle, right? The solution set is going to be inside the circle. So let me do that. So the center here is 2 comma negative 1. So if I point the center, x is 2 and y is negative 1 is going to be right here. And there, since it is 9, since this is 9, right, the radius is 3, so I'm going to go 3 units. If I go 3 units, so here's my center, I'm going to go 1 2 3 units there, 1 2 3 units down, 1 2 3 units up, and 1 2 3 units to the left. So therefore my circle is going to look like this, right? Not exactly, so I hope you can kind of see it, right? All right, that's the circle there. And now again I'm interested in less than, right? I'm interested in less than, as you see here. We are interested in what happens when it is less than, so it is going to be there. And we are going to put a dotted line here because we are this is less than strict inequality, so we're going to put some dotted lines there, right? So I think I have too big of a thing over there, so the dotted lines should be, oh no, it doesn't work very well. All right, so I think it's not working very well, so let's try to write it, right? So it's going to be dotted lines there because it is strict inequality. So that is how we would find the solution set. So this is the entire, every point inside the circle would be a solution to this particular inequality, right? Now let's take a look at the next one. The next one is y is less than x squared minus 1. And as you see, if I write it down, I'm going to say this y is equal to x squared minus 1 to see what it is. That's a parabola. As a matter of fact, it's a parabola, standard parabola with the 1 units down. So if I do that, the standard parabola is going to be, you know, when x is 0, y is 0, when x is 1, y is 1, when x is 2, y is 4, when x is 3, y is 9. And then if it's negative 1, 1, negative 2, 4, negative 3 is 9, negative 3 is 9, right? So you have this regular, you know, the parabola right there. And that's the regular parabola, which is y is equal to x squared. But then I'm not interested in x squared, I'm interested in x squared minus 1. Because of that, I'm going to bring this down a unit. If I bring this down a unit, that's what I'm going to have. Now, what are we looking at here? Again, if you take a look at this, we are looking at y less than x squared minus 1. So that is going to be this shaded region. So it's going to be, I'm just going to extend this so that if you can kind of see, it's going to be going, right, it's going to kind of go like that. I think my parabola is not good, so I hope you can see parabola there. So the region that we are interested in, which is, you know, y is less than x squared minus 1, would be the shaded region, which is going to be this entire, everything below that parabola, right? So it's going to be this entire region right here. Right. Oh no. All right. So for some reason it's not working. I think you get the point, right? So it's going to be this entire region there. Let's take a look at the next one. So what do we have here is we have two equations, not just one. Now we have system of inequalities, right? Previously we had only one equations, as you see in here, as you see in here, and as you see in here. There's only one inequality. Now what do we have here is we have two inequalities, right? There is one here and there's another one over there. So